Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Stitches and Starlight. My name is Tashiana, but you can call me Tashi because that's what all my friends do, and we're friends now. I'm coming to you from my home in Brooklyn that I share with my husband Joshua and the two hell kittens, actual cats, not humans, Minerva and Astoria, and this is my corner of the internet where we talk about all the things that I'm making, whether it's knitting or spinning or sewing or weaving, maybe. It's fiber joy and wool chaos all the time. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on the thumbnail. There are a million voices on the internet clamoring for your attention. And you saw whatever this is and decided to give it a go, and that makes you a rad human. If you're a returning viewer, you already know what time it is. Someone commented in one of my comments on the last video that she was waiting for me to say you already know what time it is. And honestly, I just forgot how to do my intro. So you already know what time it is. Welcome back to the channel. So today's going to be a little bit of a different episode. The Handspun Layers make-along starts today. It is, well, I'm not filming this on March 30th. I'm filming this on a different day. I'm filming this in the past and you're watching this in the future, but this will be up on March 30th. So today is the kickoff of the Handspun Layers make-along. And I shared in the video prior to this what my plans were. And then Natalie, who is, everyone has that, like, let's get comfy. Let's chat a little bit. Everybody has that enabler, right? Like that person that they can count on to encourage them to do things that they don't need to be doing. Like they have a million projects and then that person shows up and it's just like, psst, psst, friend, what if you did this? And that's Natalie. That's, well, among other people. There was a list of them for me. But one of them's Natalie. And Natalie commented that she was going to spin for a DRK everyday cardigan in CVM. And I went, what if I also spun for a DRK everyday cardigan in CVM? Like, I know I already have a bunch of yarn spun and ready to go, but what if I also spun yarn for another cardigan? And that's what happened. So I went through my whole sampling process, and there is a quiet vlog ahead that I've already edited, so I know that it exists. There is a 9-minute quiet vlog ahead where you get to watch me go through my entire sampling process. I will not be talking. There will just be music. There's subtitles, so if you want to see what's going on, but I go through my carding process and my spinning process and my knitting process and everything else. So yeah, I hope you grab a cup of something warm and cozy and stick around and watch me play with wool. And I'll be back to talk you through what I have, what my stats are, what my plans are, and to kick this off for real. hope that sounds okay. I realized that for a really long time, I was filming with a shotgun mic on my camera, and I got used to shouting at my camera. And I realize now that I don't need to shout at my camera. Like, I can still convey enthusiasm without shouting at my camera, but I don't need to shout at my camera anymore because I have a mic attached to me. So I'm going to clip it to me so I'm not holding it because I have stuff to show you. So here is a little bit of my bat. I only spun the tiniest bit of it because it was sampled, so I didn't need to spin a lot. But here's my bat. So yeah, guys, get in there, get in that squish. Man, I love CVM. I love CVM. If you're old hats will know that there is a list of my top fleeces to work with, and CVM is like right on that list. That list includes CVM, Corriedale, Jacob, Shetland, Romney. I was like, what is the fifth one? So those are my top 5. I will come back to those over and over. I mean, I'm dropping everything. I'll come back to those over and over. Like, yeah, the crosses. Yeah. I mean, the fine wheels are not for me. That's fine. That's fine. To each your own, but the fine wheels are not for me. But this is a 75-25 mix of CVM and black alpaca. I have a rose gray alpaca somewhere in my in my wool stash. And I dropped multiple things on Joshua looking for it because I know I have a rose gray alpaca somewhere. It has grown legs and walked away, like, you know, like things do. So this is CVM. Oh, I should show you the wool. This is CVM blended with black alpaca. And this is Tara, as something else falls on the floor. This is Tara. So Tara is a CVM fleece that I bought at Maryland Sheep and Wool in 2023. I think that's the only year I've gone. 2023 was the only year I've gone to Maryland Sheep and Wool. So Tara is a gray CVM fleece, and I pulled her out last year and scoured her. Washed up beautifully, really easy fleece to wash. And here's a lock. And she's just sitting, waiting for her time to shine. And then Natalie said she was spinning CVM, and I went, okay. Now, I did put this in the subtitles in the video that the carding I did is a much rougher carding process that I would do for a full garment spin. I might pick it open by hand, or I might like lock pop it. I haven't decided, but there was a little bit of texture in the yarn because I very roughly, I keep looking down at the wool in my hand. I very roughly carded it. So there's a little bit of texture in the yarn, and that's because I did not do any preliminary work. I literally, I mean, you watch me, I just went like a savage and threw it on the carder. So yeah, so I haven't decided if I'm going to lock pop this or pick it, like hand pick it before I start. But here is my fleece, and I have some alpaca, and my plan is to spin a 75-25 CVM alpaca yarn and then dust it with the ittiest bit of sari silk. So I did that. I spun up my sample. I'm going to grab my sample and show it to you. I just threw it on the floor. Hold on. So here's what's left of my CVM yarn. I skeined it on my sampler Nitty Naughty. So the Nitty Naughty that you saw me using last, the one that's like this big, that's the one that I use for like sweater spin samples. So after I've spun my sample and I've knit my swatch, I tend to only have like, you know, 10 yards left. And so I skein it up into these itty bitty skeins. I will unskein it so you can see it. Hold on. Oh, I put my tag in a very silly place, but okay, we will deal with that tag later. So here's the yarn. So yeah, here's my yarn. Yeah, isn't it beautiful? I'm really proud of this yarn. Really proud of it. Okay, so yarn stats. So prior to spinning, I had a 40 to somewhere between 40 to 45 degree twist angle, and I had 42 yards in 14 grams, and then I washed it. So yarn stats. I spun this single, and then I chain plied it because my favorite yarns to knit sweaters with are 3-ply yarns. I love a 3-ply round yarn. So I knew that I was going to spin a 3-ply yarn, so I chain plied my sample to see what I got. After washing, I now have a 35 degree twist angle. I have a yards per pound of 1293, 16 wraps per inch. Now 1293 yards per pound is closer to DK weight, but when you start thinking about the fact that there's 25% alpaca in it, it makes sense that the grist on this is a little bit lower than what we would consider sport weight grist. So that's the thing that you have to factor into your sweater spins. There's a lot of like generalizations made on like what the yards per pound is and what that like equates to in terms of like your yarn weight. But if you think about something like a Romney, Romney lace weight is never gonna have the same yards per pound as like a lace weight merino. The fiber is just more dense. There's a lot more things going on. So when you think about the fact that this is 25% alpaca, that grist makes a lot more sense. So yeah, so I have a grist of just about 1,300 yards per pound, 35-degree twist angle, 16 wraps per inch, which puts me right in the sport weight range. 35-degree twist angle is going to be a little bit robust for some people. It is my favorite twist angle for a sweater yarn. I want a yarn that has a fair amount of twist. Also, CVM can take this. CVM will eat this up. When I spun my singles and I chain plied it, my yarn wrapped on itself 4 times. Like it literally spun back on itself 4 times. It came out the water fully balanced. CVM, like the fine wools, will eat that twist up. And CVM loves twist. But 35-degree twist angle is a little bit robust for some people. And I spun this to like higher than 40, like between 40 and 45, knowing that the second I put it in the water, some of that twist will release. The twist with the plies will balance with the twist with the singles, and some of that stuff will release. I knit left to right, or as I now like to call it, Jimi Hendrix style. I take no credit for that. Oh my gosh, I need to start remembering who leaves me good comments. But someone left me a comment saying that I should call the way I knit Jimi Hendrix style because he was left-handed and had to learn how to play the guitar a fun way. And I was like, yes, that is exactly what I'm doing now. So I knit Jimi Hendrix style. I knit left to right. And because of that, I untwist my yarns as I knit. So I, for a sweater spin, will intentionally put a little bit more twist in a yarn because I know that I will untwist it as I'm knitting with it. And that's the joy of like constructing your own yarn, right? Like that's the joy of having the ability to do these sort of things. So 35 degrees might seem robust for some. While I'm knitting with it, it probably comes down somewhere close to like a 30 degree, which is like chef's kiss as far as sweater yarns. So yes, so here's my yarn. I did make a control card. Here's my control card. I mean, maybe. Well, here's my control card. It has a bit of my singles here. It has a 2-ply back test here, and it has a 3-ply back test here. And it helps me. Oh, I forgot to take my ISO off of auto. That's what's going on. Okay, we're gonna leave it because I'm not gonna fix it in the middle of this video, but I was doing something weird with my camera and I put my ISO on auto and I was like, why are things moving so much? That's what happened. I'm not going to hold up that white card anymore because it's screwing the ISO up, but that's my spinner's control card. I make a control card, not with every spin, but every spin that's bigger than 4 ounces, actually not even 4, any spin that's bigger than 8 ounces where I want some sort of consistency, I will make a spinner's control card. Any sweater spin, I'm definitely making a spinner's control card because we're talking about spinning yardage. We are talking about yardage. And we want that yardage to look close enough to each other at the end of the case, at the end of the day. I have surgery brain on. I'm home from work and I have surgery brain on. So when I start spinning, I will keep my spinner's control card. You keep your singles so you know that your diameter is the same. And then I keep my ply back test because it helps me figure out how much twist I'm putting in and if my twist angle matches the twist angle in the finished yarn. So I will routinely ply back my singles on itself to check my twist angle to make sure that the yarn that I'm spinning in the beginning matches the yarn that I'm spinning in the middle and matches the yarn that I'm spinning at the end. And that's why control cards are helpful. So I did my proper, and by proper, I mean my proper sampling process. Everybody has their own sampling process. Do what feels good. So I did my sampling process. I spun my yarn, I spun my singles, plied my yarn, skeined it, washed it, skeined it again, because if you're checking your grist, it doesn't count until you've washed your yarn. Yarn will bloom in the washing, so your yarn will get bigger than it was when it went in, sometimes, not always, and sometimes it'll shrink and you'll come out with less yardage than you had put in. So if you check your grist prior to washing, there's a universe where you could lose, 5% of your yardage. I've had yarns go in the water and come out crazy numbers where I was just like, where did it all go? Where did it all go? So anyway, so I did all that. And then I knit a swatch. And I love this so much. So I knit my swatch on 6s, and I put 6 yarn overs in there at the top of my swatch. So I remember that I knit my swatch on 6s. And part of the reason why I knit my swatch on 6s is, again, this is for the DRK Everyday Cardi. I never get gauged with whatever Andrea Mowry recommends. I always have to size up a needle. So she said to start with 5s, and I was like, that's for the birds. I'm immediately going to 6s. I am a tight knitter, tight. We hold on entirely too tight. So I went with 6s and I put my yarn over so I remember because I'm going to be spinning this for a while. And look at this fabric. I might put a little bit more sari silk in my actual yarn. And again, this is how you can tell the yarn is a little bit textured. So there are a few places where it's a little nubbly because I did not do the smoothest job on my yarn preparation. But it has great drape, just great drape. I'm going to knit mine with the purl side out, so that's what my fabric's gonna look like. And I'm really excited. It looks like a chalkboard. I'm really excited about this. So I cast on like 36 stitches or something like that, enough to put a garter border on both sides so that my, my swatch would not curl in on stockinette. I put a 3-stitch garter border on both sides and I knit stockinette flat. Prior to washing, my stitch gauge was 24 stitches. I don't ever check my row gauge. I probably should. But prior to washing, my stitch gauge was 24 stitches, and it came out the water 22, which is exactly what I was hoping for. It bloomed just enough that it came out the water at 22 stitches, which is the gauge. I hope that's the gauge for this pattern. I'm pretty sure that's the gauge for this pattern, but now that I'm telling you this, I'm second guessing myself. But I'm pretty sure 22 stitches is the gauge for this pattern, which means I have my yarn and I have my fabric. If it's not, I'm gonna do that Brenna math and I'm gonna switch. Like this is what I wanna knit this yarn with. This is the gauge I wanna knit this yarn with. It has a good amount of elasticity. It's going to stretch. It has beautiful drape. CVM is next to skin soft for most people. That's going to be such a good DRK everyday cardie. I'm very excited about this. So next, I have a lot of carding to do because at a grist of 1,300 yards per pound, I need 1.5 pounds to get the amount of yardage I need for my cardigan. I need 1,800 yards. I should have double checked all these numbers before I sat down. I did this yesterday, and then I went and I worked a full 10 hours. So like, there's a universe where all these numbers are wrong, but I'm pretty sure I need 1,800 yards for my size. So again, at a grist of 1,300 yards per pound, I need 1.5 pounds. I always like to give myself a little bit of a wiggle room. So 1,300 yards per pound, 1.5 pounds should give me 1,300 divided by 2 is 650, 1,950 yards, which is more than enough for this cardigan. So that's my plan. So I'm going to start by carding 1.5 pounds of bats. My carder can hold 150 grams at a time. So 150 grams is what, 6 ounces. 1.5 pounds is 16 plus 8 is 24. I probably need 4 bats, 4 6-ounce bats. See how fast I did that math? I still have nurse brain on. I need 4 6-ounce bats. And then I'm going to break them down. I'm going to spin all this on my flat iron exactly the way I spun this. So I spun this on my flat iron with the small whirl, the large groove on the small whirl. All of that is written down on my control card so that I can replicate this yarn. That's my favorite thing about sweater spinning is if you do all the work in the beginning, then once it's time to spin, you just get to spin, like all that work's done. So yes, I'm very excited. So now guys, here's my invitation. Here's my call to action. I love a call to action. Here's my invitation. Here's my call to action. Join me. Make something fun with me. A bunch of you have already been commenting on the previous video. People have already joined the Discord server. Yay! It's a fledgling server. I have built, and let me a little thing about the Discord server. I have built and I've tricked out several Discord servers. This one's bare bones because I'm not sure what we need. Like I'm not sure what we need as a community, and I'm not sure what we want from this server. So I will continue to flesh it out as we see fit. But right now it's very bare bones. There's a chit chat channel and there's a channel for the make along, but the server is already up and running. I will link the server in the description box. Thank you for all of you who asked for a Ravelry thread. I will link the Ravelry thread and the Ravelry group in the description box. And if you want to hang out on Instagram, the hashtag is Handspun Layers Make Along. Oh, to explain what I mean by Handspun Layers. My objective for this is to get us to spin things that we can wear over things, right? So spin and knit a cardigan, spin and knit a vest, spin and knit something that you can wear over something so that you can get a little bit more wear out of this. Like, every now and then we make these really special pullovers, but then it's a pullover, right? But like a cardigan, you can put on in the morning and then as it gets cooler, take it off. Warmer, take it off. And then as it gets cooler, put it back on. And I find that we might get a little bit more wear out of things that we can layer with other pieces. Also like layering your hand knits with like non-handmade items, or if you're a maniac like me, layering your hand knits with all handmade items. So that was the objective behind the Handspun Layers Make Along. So yeah, join me guys. Come make something fun with me. Spin some yarn, literally spin some yarn, make a thing, knit a thing, crochet a thing, weave and sew a thing. That's it. Spin some yarn, make a thing. Yeah, that's all I have for you today, guys. I really hope you go on this adventure with me. We have 6 months. So my goal is, here's the other reason why I picked 6 months, because I know that a lot of you go to Rhinebeck. And I know a lot of you go to Rhinebeck because a lot of you find me. So a lot of you go to Rhinebeck, which also, thank you so much for finding me. I know I'm not screaming into the void when I make these videos because you guys comment and you guys interact with me, but like putting real faces to like the names that like pop up in the comments over and over is a real joy. So thank you for finding me. But my thought process is if we start March 30th and we finish September 30th, then by October for Rhinebeck season, how fun would it be if we're all walking around in things we spun and made ourselves? Like how special would it be to go to a fiber festival in a fully tricked out, fully handmade garment? That's the thing that like fires me up. It keeps me going. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to, I'm probably going to ask Joshua. I mean, he might say no, but I'm probably going to ask Joshua to help me pick this fleece. I don't know that I have the patience to lock pop it. And honestly, I was picking this lock open and this lock picks open just fine. And I don't know that I have the patience to lock pop that much wool. So I might ask Joshua if he's willing to help me pick it open. And I think my first plan is to pick open all the wool that I need. And then I will be carding. And I like to do all the carding before I start spinning. And then I will spin all my singles. I will probably spin all my singles. I will probably be a good spinner. I spin all my singles. Or I might spin like 3 bobbins and then ply and then spin 3 bobbins and then ply. I don't know what the plan is. But the bottom line is I will card and then I will spin. And then I'll get to knitting. And I'm hoping to have, I mean, I'm not going to give this like real timelines, but I'm hoping that by like April, May, by June, to be knitting. Like I think 2 months is like a good amount of time to get the carding and the spinning done. And by June to be knitting. I will also be knitting on the other things that I did mention. I am going to swatch for my Avenue vest this weekend. I am going to swatch for my other cardigan this weekend. But now that I'm like, I think there's something really special about spinning along with the rest of you and like starting with yarn from scratch. So now that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm actually going to spin yarn, I'm like really geeked. So yeah, that's all I have for you today, guys. I really, really do hope, there's a lot of noise outside. I really, really do hope that you go on this adventure with me. I hope you enjoyed the little like making vlog. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you're interested in. I'm not a cinematographer by any stretch of the imagination. So like, it's not great, but I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know if that's something that you're interested in. And I'll see you around, guys. Join me in the Discord. Find me in the Ravelry group. You know, hang out on Instagram. Let's make something. So, you know, wishing you all the joy in the world, hoping that you make something that brings you, that just fires you up, and wishing you the strength to keep resisting. Stay strong, stay real, stay grounded.